So beside the famous Alcina Dimitrescu having much of the spotlight from the Resident Evil Village trailers, a very important mid-boss antagonist does play a major role in this game, ensuring that Ethan Winters not only does have to watch his back with the Tall Lady, but now has to deal with more of the vampiric-like enemies in the Dimitrescu Castle, which would be the Dimitrescu Daughters, Bela, Cassadra, and Daniella. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and cover these three characters.
Where are you going, little one?
Which we can break down their character design, the inspiration to their development, some of the background lore, and how these daughters connect back to Resident Evil 7 and the mold strain.
Look at all the pretties my little girl is giving me!
So starting off, the overall concept design and inspiration to these characters comes from the famous Brides of Dracula, referencing back to the likes of the Van Helsing movie, where we see the three vampiric-like maidens causing terror among the population, while showing their full allegiance and affection to Dracula. This of course would translate to what we've seen with the three Dimitrescu daughters, showing their own versions of the vampiric-like characteristics, which would be their thirst for blood, their overall look and design, and paying homage to the older Victorian-era dark garbs. And even their way of transportation, which appears to be a plague of insects gathering together, then one of the daughters manifests from the said horde, which this way of unusual transportation is nothing new when it comes to vampires, which in many different variabilities have been shown throughout the years. Anyways, besides their overall aesthetic, clearly taking references from the popular media of Dracula's Brides, this overall concept of the three siblings actually takes us all the way back to the very early 1900s, which the first references to the three vampiric ladies comes from the novel Dracula, written by Bram Stoker, though the detailing and accounts for the three sisters is much different from the later iterations from what was said in the novel, accounting that these three vampiric ladies aren't even Dracula's brides, though still very loyal to him and his ambitions, though some accounts from the novel do tell that their overall personalities and mannerisms does translate to what we've seen from the Dimitrescu daughters, which the obvious would be their way of luring their prey and their thirst for blood. Anyways, even not truly being the Brides of Dracula in this novel by Bram Stoker, this would indeed set the foundation for the next century of iterations in regards to the three sisters, with many movies and other folklore tales being told about these three vampires and using some suggestive methods to lure their prey to quench their thirst. Hence resulting from the latest and more memorable versions that we see in Van Helsing. So now, where does this place the Dimitrescu daughters? And who exactly are they? How did they even become these vampiric-like enemies in Resident Evil Village? Because all in all, Resident Evil has to stay grounded in their storytelling when it comes to explaining the many supernatural-like abilities of these enemies, which the Dimitrescu daughters are not excluded from that fact. But before we do get more involved with their abilities, let's do a quick rundown of their origins in RE Village and see how this would correlate with their vampiric tendencies, which a lot of information was gathered from the maiden demo and the future demos as well.
You will look wonderful mounted in our hall.
Where we found some files dating back to the mid-1900s stating, June 9th, 1958, it was my first day working at the castle today. The mistress and her daughters were very adamant that they wouldn't bite. It was quite peculiar. Then moving on to the next passage, taking place a couple of weeks after the first note, June 23rd, 1958. It's been 2 weeks since I started working at the castle, and I am a little afraid. Another maid, Adela, made a mistake, and Miss Daniella slashed her face with a knife, and at night, I can hear wailings, as if ghosts roamed the halls. I want to go home. And then we get to the last passage, noting, July 8th, 1958, I don't know what to do. The young ladies were complaining it was too hot and stuffy during dinner, so I opened the window just a crack. Shut it now, they all shrieked at me in unison. I fear I may be taken down in the cellar, never to be seen again. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
You ungrateful, selfish wretch!
Anyways, after reading the maiden's diary, this already tells us a lot about the three sisters, and even some hints to their vampiric tendencies, hinting that they won't bite. all the three daughters shrieking when the window was barely being opened. This of course referencing the vampire's weakness to sunlight, which this exact fact may actually be more telling in regards to the strain that caused the daughters to become the way they are. Because when playing the RE Village Castle demo, we saw this amazing picture of the three daughters together, possibly prior to them turning into what we see them to be today. And from the looks of it, they appeared normal, possibly coming from a noble background, and not showing the personalities that we see today. Which in contrast, we have some details of the three sisters having some interesting personalities, with Cassadra being known to torment her victims, and then Daniella, who from the Maiden's Diary, stating that she slashed one of the maids' face with a knife, personifying the more crazy nature.
I can't hold back any longer.
This crazy personality of the three of course is only directed towards their victims, because like the recounts of the Brides of Dracula, the three Dimitrescu daughters are very subservient to their mother Alcina Dimitrescu, obeying their mother's commands without question, and showing a keen interest of keeping their mother happy by capturing Ethan Winters. But besides all we've talked about so far, the most important aspect to the three Dimitrescu daughters is actually the explanation to their vampiric abilities, and how this could be a reference or hint to what we saw from Resident Evil 7.
Man blood.
Because looking back, the main catalyst for the infection in Resident Evil 7 was the mold strain, a bioorganic weapon created by the mysterious company called The Connections, causing those who were infected to act in a crazy and delusional manner, which is comparative to what we see from the Dimitrescu daughters. Though in Resident Evil 7, one of the main antagonists did display a very similar ability that the three daughters currently have in Resident Evil Village, which is with Marguerite Baker and her ability to use insects.
Look at all the pretties my little girl is giving me! Kiss me, lover!
What the hell? Get to the garage! Get some rope! Go now!
Having the explanation that these were actually a byproduct of the mold strain. So now the infected Marguerite Baker was able to produce more of these insects and was able to control them at will. This of course correlates back to what we've seen from the three Dimitrescu daughters and how their tendencies to use insects for their attacks and their apparent transportation. So with this comparison of abilities from both Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village, it's safe to assume that the mold strain may play a significant role in this game, though unknown at this time how they attained the mold strain to begin with, but I am sure that they will cover this fact once this game is released. Also, another fact that leads me to believe that the mold strain is the primary cause to the abilities of the three Dimitrescu daughters is referenced back to the Maiden's Diary, because remember, it was mentioned that the three sisters shrieked when the window was barely being opened, giving the readers the assumption that this was due to their vampiric-like origins or traits. Well, what if the vampiric characteristics is actually the byproduct weakness of the mold strain? Because in a real-world context, we know that sunlight does kill most molds and its spores. So having the three Dimitrescu daughters infected with this type of mold strain may explain their tendencies to shy away from sunlight, hence explaining their reaction in the Maiden's Diary. Also, maybe their tendencies of consuming blood may be a way of the mold strain to get stronger within the host, explaining again why Alcina Dimitrescu and her daughters are so obsessed with human blood. Anyways, in conclusion, the three Dimitrescu daughters, Bela, Cassadra, and Daniella, will definitely make an impact during our run in the Village Castle, which I am sure will get a more realistic Resident Evil based answer as to why they act the way they do, and explaining what kind of mutations they have going on this time around in Resident Evil Village. So overall, this is a pre-release character analysis of the Dimitrescu daughters from RE Village, and I will be doing a more in-depth analysis once the game is released. Anyways, I do hope you guys enjoyed my take in regards to the three sisters, so let me know what you guys think of them overall, and what do you guys think caused their vampiric abilities and so on. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, you guys have a great rest of your day, and this is Hey DeVuH, and I'll see you guys on the next video.
You come into my house! You lay your filthy man hands on my daughters! And now you even try to steal my property! How dare you! Rest while you can! Because I will hunt you, and I will